There is a number in your head. It isn't a loud number. It doesn't shout. It's a quiet, persistent ghost, a specific figure you've convinced yourself would finally resolve the tension. Not the tension of being poor. Most people watching this have moved past the primal fear of where their next meal comes from. No, this is a different kind of tension. It's the tension of being unsettled. For some, that ghost number is $80,000 a year. For others, it's $250,000. But whatever the figure, you've treated it like a destination, a shore you're swimming toward where the water finally becomes still. But the number is a lie, because for the vast majority of high-achieving, responsible people, reaching that figure brings them right back to the same place they started, the late-night ceiling stare. You're earning double what you did 5 years ago. You have the title, you have the security, you have the artisanal coffee and the ergonomic chair and the climate-controlled life. Yet as you lie there at 2 a.m., your breathing hasn't gotten any easier. The weight hasn't moved. It just scaled with you. You expected to feel rich, but all you feel is busy. You expected to feel safe, but all you feel is exposed. This is the problem money cannot solve. Because the problem isn't in your bank account. It's in the hidden architecture of your brain. In 2010, the Kahneman-Deaton study mapped this phenomenon across 400,000 lives. It is perhaps the most famous study in the history of behavioral economics, but its most critical insight is often buried under the headline. The headline said, "Money buys happiness up to $75,000. But the data revealed something much darker. It showed that once the baseline of survival is met, once the rent is paid, the fridge is full, and the lights stay on, the human emotional curve doesn't just slow down, it goes flat. The emotional return on every additional dollar earned begins to plummet. Doubling your income from $100,000 to $200,000 doesn't double your peace of mind. In many cases, it doesn't even move the needle by an inch. Why? Because of a systemic mechanism I call the adequacy threshold. The adequacy threshold is a dynamic reference point. It isn't a fixed line in the sand, it's a shadow that moves as you walk. It is a psychological recalibration that happens in the dark, while you're busy celebrating your promotion or signing the papers on your new home. Imagine you're standing in a room. You decide that if the ceiling were just 1 foot higher, you'd finally have enough space to breathe. So you work, you sacrifice, you climb, and eventually you raise the ceiling. But the moment the ceiling moves up, the floor beneath your feet moves up with it. The gap between you and the ceiling remains exactly the same. The adequacy threshold ensures that enough is always exactly 10 to 15% more than what you currently have. It is a system designed to keep you in a state of perpetual arrival, without ever actually arriving. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the 3 invisible gears that power this machine. Listen closely, because you can hear them grinding in the background of your daily life. Gear 1. The reference shift. Your brain is incapable of calculating absolute value. It doesn't know what $100,000 is. It only knows what $100,000 is compared to. When you were earning $40,000, the person earning $80,000 looked like a god. But now that you are that person, your eyes haven't stayed fixed on the floor. They've moved to the ceiling. You aren't looking at your bank statement. You are looking at the texture of your new environment. You're noticing the heavy, silent thud of the car door on your colleague's new SUV, a sound that makes yours feel thin, like a tin can. You're noticing the weight of the matte finish card the person ahead of you uses to pay for lunch. You aren't earning more. You are earning less than the new environment you've moved into. Your brain just updated its software. It looked at the slightly frayed edge of your current carpet and said, "This was sufficient yesterday. It is a deficit today." Gear 2. Social recalibration. This is the social flaw. It's the unspoken agreement of your circle. Think about the social performance at a dinner party. You're standing in a kitchen that cost more than your first house. You hear the high-frequency hum of a $6,000 espresso machine. You didn't want a new espresso machine. You didn't even know they could cost that much. But as your friend describes the temperature stability and the pressure profile, the social floor moves 6 inches higher. Your current coffee maker, the one you used to love, is now a limitation. You aren't being materialistic. You are simply responding to a recalibrated baseline. You are working harder just to stay in the exact same social position. You are running a race where the track is moving backward at the same speed you are running forward. You are exhausted, not because you aren't moving, but because the floor is moving with you. Gear 3. Baseline migration. This is the most dangerous gear. It is the clinical process by which a luxury becomes a requirement. Think about the first time you flew in a premium cabin. The hot towel, the smell of the warmed nuts, the silence. It was an outlier. But if you do it 3 times, the outlier becomes the requirement. You haven't increased your pleasure. You've only increased your cost of neutrality. You are now paying triple the price for a flight just to feel the same level of fine you used to feel in economy. You have traded your ability to be surprised for a higher cost of existence. You are spending more to stay at zero. You are earning more just to maintain a baseline of not annoyed. You have reached the plateau of diminishing returns. You are now running the most expensive treadmill in the world. If you are waiting for a specific dollar amount to finally give you the feeling of enough, I am here to tell you, it is never coming. The system is designed to prevent that feeling. The hidden architecture of reference shifts, social recalibration, and baseline migration is a self-correcting loop. It will consume every raise, every bonus, and every promotion you ever receive, and it will leave you standing in the same emotional spot. You cannot fight a neurological system with willpower. You cannot budget your way out of a psychological reference shift. The only architectural response is anchoring. Anchoring is the act of choosing a fixed reference point before the recalibration happens. It is the decision to anchor your definition of enough to a specific standard of living, rather than a specific income level. Imagine a concrete block at the bottom of a lake. That is your anchor. You attach a chain to it. As the tide of your income rises, you stay moored to the floor. You don't let the boat rise with the tide. This requires a fixed reference diagnostic. It means looking at your life when you were earning $60,000 and identifying the exact things that made you feel rich then. Was it the ability to buy a book without checking the price? The cold, crisp feel of a new hardback in your hand? Was it the Friday night dinner where you didn't look at the right side of the menu? If you reach 120,000 and you have those same things, but you still feel the late-night ceiling stare, the anchor tells you the truth. The problem isn't your bank account. It's a system error. The anchor allows you to see the reference shift for what it is, a phantom. It allows you to see the social recalibration as a performance you don't have to join. There is a number in your head. But unless you anchor it to a human reality, unless you decide what enough looks like in terms of time, peace, and presence, that number will always be a ghost. You can spend your entire life chasing a feeling of rich that is intentionally designed to stay 6 inches out of reach. You can keep raising the ceiling and wondering why the room still feels small. You can keep paying a higher and higher price just to feel neutral. Or you can recognize the mechanism. You can see the gears turning. You can see the reference shift for the trick that it is. You can stop letting a moving threshold set the coordinates of your peace. Money is a tool for agency. It is the ability to say no to things you don't want to do. But if you don't control the threshold, the tool becomes the cage. The more you earn, the smaller the bars become. Stop chasing the ghost. Define the floor. Drop the anchor.